The Tin Hot Soldier. This is the War on Comics. I'm Colin.
I'm Omar.
Today we're getting into some pulpy superhero-y goodness. We got a bit of like now. I think we've said this is the first comic we reviewed that's from this decade.
Yeah, we noticed that we've been stuck in the before times a little bit.
A little bit. Speaking of before times, have you seen the Superman movie yet?
Not yet.
I'm so amused by this. I'm like kind of jealous. I am a slop connoisseur. I just open my mouth, gobble gobble gobble, gimme gimme gimme. I have such respect for someone that can be like, no, I'm not going to get sucked into it. Anyways, this has some relevancy to that of sorts. We'll dive in time, and then we're also balancing out our diets with some very very ancient tomes.
We couldn't realm too far in the future.
We'll be unboxing Labubu's next. It can't be done.
Can't be done.
We're sticking. We gotta keep a foot in the past here too. This is a collection of comics from like around 81, 82 from Mike Baron and Steve Rude.
The Rude Dude. First feature on the channel.
Yes, and this is for the Nexus comic. So it's kind of I would say like superhero meets sci-fi action at the War on Comics today.
Catch us on this sci-fi adventure.
Let's dive in. Let's beam down.
Let's beam down.
All right, so as fate may have it, I guess we're just kind of on the same wavelength here, and just both drew from some, I guess some pulpy sci-fi superhero action. You picked the Nexus. So you get the cool one. I checked this out from the library.
This was the inspiration, though.
Yeah, I was. So I had read this before. A person who I know who likes comics a lot. As we do in our field, we say, I don't know, I don't like anything right now, and they say, well, have you read Guy XYZ?
There you go.
And you say no, and then they tell you, and you're like, well, this guy's full of shit. And then you read Guy XYZ, and Guy XYZ is great. In this instance, Guy XYZ is Tom King. He was pitched to me as like one of the really good big two kind of superhero writers that's going right now. And I had read some of his stuff before. He wrote Vision, the Vision miniseries. I believe
that's an interesting character.
It's a really good story. I'd love to break that one out at some point. Honestly, and my man did not disappoint me. Every Tom King comic I've read, which I have only read his stuff that I've checked out from the library, so he could have deeper cuts. I don't know, but I don't feel like an overabundant need to give DC my money, so I'm fine going to my local library and picking out what trades we have. But this one really impressed me. Now in the Superman movie, the new one, there's a bit at the very end. I won't spoil it for you since you haven't seen it. But Supergirl shows up, and as soon as I saw her, I was like, "That's the Supergirl I read from this comic." And I thought that was such a cool kind of characterization. I mean, it's basically a cameo. It's not like a central character or anything. But I felt so ahead of the curve. Usually with these sort of things, especially if we're talking comics made like recently, if someone shows up, I'm like, I don't know, what is this guy?
Like, who is this person?
Who's this one? And then I go on the YouTube app, and they're like,
the library,
hey, this is actually this guy first appeared in this comic, blah blah blah. And I kind of reverse engineer him. But this time around, this is one of the few times I absolutely got the reference out the gate.
Sick.
I guess we got to show some love to this artist.
So who is
clue?
Who is Clayton Cowles?
No idea.
Bilquis Evely?
No concept whatsoever. But I love the art style in here. It has a very like European feel, for lack of better words.
Yeah, I'm getting. Remember that book? Note from the editor. Remember that French novel we saw, that like sci-fi opera one?
Yes, it's all coming back to me.
Philippe Droulet.
Right. Oh, I mean, this is not on that level. Let's just be very clear.
But this is giving me like teen graphic novel version of that, more so than just a Jack Kirby or just a like DC multiverse situation. I am kind of feeling like there's some more natural, like this is a comic nerd that is taking in the lore, Because I know a little, like I used to read Supergirl comics back in the day. They were pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
Especially when Bruce Timm got a hold of Supergirl.
Okay.
There's a couple random ones. But dude, this doesn't give me like DC what are they called, jobber.
Yeah, it's definitely not like company like, oh geez, I'm trying to think of the word for it, like the character sheets when they give you
what is that shit
in cartoons and stuff, so that you get everything right. It's definitely not like it's corporate mandated. I think Tom King, again, this is someone who's on the outside. I just know what I know from reading his stuff. He seems to have like a higher status in the comics field, and I think because of that, he can maybe they're going to give him ace talent, because everything I've read, he has great artists working with him. And I don't think this comic is too bound to like, you got to tie it into the big, Infinity Google crisis that we got going on this week, Tom. I think they kind of let him do his thing. And and he does this thing really well. I think what I've liked about his comics, everyone I've read, is that they're very sincere. They don't seem stuck in this notion of lamp shading or like being sort of post-meta ironic. They're a little bit quippy, of course, which is like how a lot of modern comics are. But even just looking at the words, I feel like there's more per page than you'll see on an average comic that's published now. It's kind of my beef with a lot of comics, not even the big two. I think you'll see this through Image and a lot of indie stuff, where it's just like the pace you read is just like flip. There's just like,
it feels like a product, like a McDonald's kind of
splash page, couple words, copy pasted panels, and it's like, even if it's entertaining, which I think they're pretty good. I'm not that big of a snob where I can't just enjoy reading, a Batman comic or a Poison Ivy miniseries or some nonsense like that. But they go by so fast. It's like, if I was paying $5 an issue for something that literally takes 7 minutes to read, I'd
be pissed.
Yeah, that's kind of why I ultimately am
you're wasting my time at this point.
I'm a library slut for that very reason.
Yeah, there you go. So with that, like, does that kind of soften that blow? Because that is literally my gripe with every modern comic now, is that they're built to just like churn them and burn them.
Right, easy consumption.
And like this, I can kind of tell that this is created like on a tablet format.
Right.
Like, this feels like
for digital.
Yeah.
With digital,
which is not bad.
Right.
This is actually cool. This is like the in-between world between like web comics and I think the comics that we grew up with.
Right. Yeah, I think I think this is a great example of like a kind of like a foot in both worlds, right? Because I think this stuff, there is enough meat on the bones to call it a good comic, but there's also enough just, that thrill you get when you see Supergirl flying around. Speaking of which, let's just kind of get to where she is. So the story is essentially Supergirl is on this other planet. She has to go there because the sun doesn't affect her, so that she can get wasted and kind of unwind. You get into their tragic backstory, because I think the Supergirl bit that they drive home in this series is like, she wasn't shipped off of Krypton before it blasted. She grew up there and then escaped before the bomb blast. So she is
she's seen some shit.
She has I guess more of a sense of loss, whereas Clark, good old Soups, didn't, and thus is the difference between her kind of pessimism and the eternal optimism of Soups. And this, but she's almost like a minor character. The main bit here is this gal whose dad dies and she's seeking revenge. So it's a really straightforward revenge story. She's seeking the guy that killed him. And I guess what makes it fun is, just the extremes that it goes to. You have to get Supergirl to help you kill this guy.
It's funny. It's like, it does have like that, I think I was saying earlier before the video, like a newspaper comic kind of feel. Right. Like an episodic, like this comic is featuring Supergirl. Like, this story, she's the feature. And like, that doesn't take away from the story at all. It adds to like that weird lore. Like that detachment is kind of sick in this instance.
And you don't really get in her head like all of this stuff is like the journal or the book, I guess, of this little girl who went on this journey with Supergirl to hunt down her killer. And of course,
the bad guy here.
Yeah, easiest plot point in the world. How do you get your Supergirl invested? This is a post John Wick era. Of course, he killed a dog, and so with her dog wounded, now she has to, because she's on this other planet specifically to get wasted. The dog is not invincible either.
Yes.
So they're all sort of, and
so sick.
You end these kind of, it's kind of that as a single issue. I think it's 6, maybe 8 issues in total. So quick read, but you can definitely tell where the breaks happen.
Right.
And just like that, we're on the.
So this is coming monthly.
Yeah, I would believe. Okay. I would imagine. And,
I loved all this stuff.
Yeah, man. This is straight like heavy metal mag.
Fuck, this is so cool.
All the way. A lot of good, work on the characters and everything. Like this is, to me, a really, for being, a silly DC superhero comic with Supergirl running around. Like I get it. We're comic snobs. We're supposed to be better than this shit. Whatever. To me, I mean,
it's not without its flaws, right? It does have some writing flaws, I will say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it like necessarily keeps up the momentum. Like this first few bits are like amazing because now we're seeing as witnesses. I think there was some like space dragon or something, and they needed her to use her powers, so she got the little kryptonite or
popping pills out here,
right, to give her the power to kind of beat the dragon. And she takes her time. This is like the emotional core of the story, right? Because she's with this little disgusting farm girl that doesn't know how to wash her hands. And Supergirl kind of they dedicate a whole page there, like her kind of teaching the little girl how to wash hands, and it's like, I guess shows that even in her harshness or rough around the edges approach, she still has ultimately a compassionate drive and help for others. And that's the stuff in Superman that's supposed to like get you really excited,
the people, there's still people with good intent out there, because as powerful as this person is, Supergirl can do whatever the fuck she wants, really.
Right. But, and she is choosing to do help. And it is like a little bit of a Star Trek situation, which I think I'm always reminded anytime the superheroes are in space, like Green Lantern kind of falls into that too.
Oh, I love
Inevitably, they go into a planet. What's the problem here? They solve the problem. This is a great little single issue here. They go to this planet that's been dabbling in a little genocide.
Yeah, there's been just a couple of lines.
Yeah, some of us are not as equal as others, and as she kind of investigates the nastiness, because I guess her guy, the villain came here, I think.
That's who they're tracking, yeah.
Yes, and because he came here, he kind of did some genocide on behalf of the government and kind of wiped out their indigenous underclass people. Look at them just celebrating in the violence because the bad guy got linked up with some space pirates. Look, roll with it. It's fun. It's a good time.
It's fun. It's a good time. How did they get linked up like this?
Yeah, just keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling, yeah. Which is exactly, it's like that Star Trek kind of thing. You suspend your disbelief for a second.
Are we supposed to?
I like the Piccolo reference.
Oh, this is so hard. Yeah, this guy's like trying to dig these graves and put the things up, and then Supergirl just zoom, gets it all done, which is like, you gotta, I'd say it's a fun show of power. I do think no matter what in a superhero comic, because I do think a lot of them have that tendency when they want to be elevated or, a deconstruction, blah, 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 where it's like they don't do their powers because it seems so silly. And this feels very silly.
Yeah.
Like doing superpowers to dig up a mass grave for genocide. But at the same time, it's fun to see. And it's like, she's doing, it's not just, punch, punch, pow. She does some of that.
You get the classic, I think.
You even get some Kirby dots here, like the
WrestleMania kind of vibe. I did love all of the references. There's a bunch of art references in here.
Yeah.
There's some Frank Miller.
This is some Juillard
shit right here.
100%.
There was like a Darrow almost kind of looking page, but mostly I saw Paul Pope
Okay.
Like stuff via Paul Pope, and I did see a lot of the Juillard stuff. I don't know if that's an actual direct reference, but it's fucking sick.
Yeah, there's so much work here. This is another, again. This is a bottle episode. This is Star. This is Star Trek. They're on the island. They're on this world where the sun goes down, or I forget exactly what it is. She can't be exposed to the sun. Oh yeah, he used this little teleportation gimmick to zap them there, so they're losing their fight. And
this dragon comes into play.
They have to basically wait through the night, but they're in hostile territory, so there's all these animals getting them. So now,
this was crazy cool.
The strong person is now at the defense of the little girl, and she has to sort of stave off these monsters as the night goes on.
I mean, this is just pure hero's journey, right? Like, kind of in that space of, like, I am reminded of Macaulay Culkin and the library movie. What was that movie?
Oh, Page Master?
Page Master,
brother.
Dude. This gave me Page Master, man.
No one is, I don't think the phrase "this is giving Page Master" has been mentioned, I'm going to say ever. So, good job. I salute these connections you're making.
Hashtag Page Master.
You're going to have to walk me through the Page Master connection. I'm not going to lie. My 90s Macaulay is rough.
Man.
My clamshell era Macaulay Culkin is rough.
Maybe it's because we have it in the shop, but it's just pure, like, that's the moment where, you know, the fool kind of has to become the hero kind of shit.
And the weakest will defend the strongest,
right?
So on and so forth. And the stone that the builder refused will become the head cornerstone. And where are we? And I think from here on out, I kind of start to.
How do you like this landing here?
Not great. I think I think, you know, it's set up in a way where it could just be every day we're chasing this guy. Yeah. But I think the way that comics operate now, I don't know that kind of format is permitted, you know, in the sense that I don't know that these talents want to remain on this book forever.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want to let it turn into, you know, hand it over just to the proverbial jobber who just, you know, dashes out some quick nonsense and puts, you know, Guy Gardner on the cover to sell some more comics. It's like let's wrap this story up, and but it's odd to get it to a place where they theoretically treat this as an endless episodic kind of story.
They built it, they definitely built it like that.
Every until this point, almost every episode could just be them chasing after this guy, trying to catch him, and they find themselves on a new planet. Hijinks ensue. Again, that's, you know,
it's textbook sci-fi adventure, and it really gave me the vibe of, like, the best episodes of The Mandalorian.
Right.
I think they definitely had that feel on it.
Yeah, it's you know, Star Wars X-Files.
Yeah, honestly,
we're investigating some weird stuff, or we're up for hire. We got to go scope some.
Yeah, like we have to make some scratch before we can go down and keep looking for this psycho kind of dude, because he gets up to some shit throughout this whole thing.
He's a little OP, I gotta say.
Same, like
it's a little too much Deus Ex Machina to save him from this power, and it's the eternal struggle with comic book stuff, where it's, what do they call it? It's all Act 2, right? So it's all, you know, you have to show your superhero doing these feats of strength that are amazing, but then your villain has to kind of be on that level to make it interesting. Otherwise, it's just, you know, you endlessly decimating armies of, you know, robot drones. But when we're talking about a guy who's just an asshole, kind of, you know, initially, I mean, he stumbles into this stuff with the space pirates and.
Yeah, he kind of, why does he go? My whole kind of thing is, like, the logic behind it, not to, like, of course, like, in this moment, we've been telling you guys to suspend your disbelief, but you got to kind of ground it a little bit in the writing. Because my biggest gripe was some points felt rushed. And, like, if you're taking a space monthly on a comic book shelf, like, let's go through some drafts. Let's thin out the bullshit, because we have so much writing to look back on that's in this space, like, I'm not trying to say like it sucks or anything. There's so much reverence in here for other comics in the art, and I'm sure in the script.
Right.
Like, I'm sure this guy wrote so much of this reference and took care as like a director almost, which is what I think writers are in comics. I think they're more like directors.
Right.
But I mean, is he having to? Are these artists kind of having to play to like placate the fucking corporate homies in the office, like the suits? Do they have to go and play the game as well? And like,
I mean, it's a good question, and I mean, obviously, I think economics comes into play in the sense of like when you have a great talent that could be writing a mini series for a streaming service or finding some other work, and you're locking them down, like they're not going to be doing a monthly for eternity. They're not going to be doing one of these like 60 issue runs. They want to get an 8-issue miniseries banged out quickly so that frankly they can get it turned into a trade paperback and have it dropped off in the libraries.
I mean, true, right?
There's a lot more money I think in that than in building monthly sales, and that's unfortunately how it is. And so when the economics are as such, and they don't want to pay guys like this to be on long running eras of comics, they're not tying them down for years and years and years, then all you're going to get is, hey, I got an idea for a miniseries, here it is. And so I don't know about rushed per se, but there is definitely like some timing. I don't know. To your point, yes, the landing is a little rushed. His art's awesome. She's got the
all this stuff is top tier. Like, I'm not trying to make him sound like it's
we get some
shitty,
some Krypton backstory here.
Kind of shredded it.
Yeah, although it's just like the exact opposite problem that most comics have, which is like the characterization is really good, like the economy of storytelling and conveying who everyone is, how they act, why, getting me to care about them. All of that is check, and that is not an easy task in comics.
That's true.
The challenge lies in maybe like how exciting the action is, or like, I don't know, maybe just like the bones of the structure.
How you like orchestrate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is really shit right there.
That's
fucking awesome.
All the way. Yeah, I didn't really draw that comparison until you brought it up, but now that I'm seeing it, it's like,
I only noticed it now, honestly.
All here. And so on this episode, she's fighting the space pirate. She's got her laser horse locked down on this abandoned island.
Felt a little rushed,
this girl's not supposed to kill the guy, and it's sort of like they're edging us. Will she? Won't he?
It's the Nietzschean moment, right?
Is she going to cross that line? Is she going to murk this fool? And as time goes on,
because
she's fighting these pirates. This is just like,
this was epic.
All right, everyone's trying to get off. Everyone's trying to
wrap it up. It's such a spinning plates thing. I really liked it until these last few issues. Man.
Yeah, and I guess the reason I just find it all, like, even when it's not 10 out of 10 masterful, blah blah blah, it's just fun to read. It's never bad.
It's never bad. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
maybe that's not such an accomplishment when we're talking about like an 8-issue series, but it's still. I don't know. My standards are such where I just am not going. I just can't read trash, and so when I read big 2 comics that aren't trash, I'm like, wow, this is really something. This is what I kind of wish, more comics were like. And they stayed true to that till the end. You see the little girl now. She's an old lady. She's been working on the superhero book, or on this story about her. Yeah,
they weren't able to kill the guy.
They threw him in the Phantom Zone for a while. They let him out, and I want to say, she kills him now as an old guy. So,
So you do get closure, guys.
Yes, no grand moral. Now, here's where I pull my big. So good conclusion. Good comic, right? Just
good comic.
Fun, easy. All right.
Fine comics here.
Down from the rafters.
Oh shit! What is this?
I'm gonna throw you for a loop here.
Okay.
I don't know what you know about Tom Strong.
I know. All I know is this and this.
and Tom Strong was kind of Alan Moore's like tribute to pulp heroes. This is a story we can get into. Though the main thing you need to know is he's a Superman type. That's his daughter, and I'm gonna go to one little short story in here. And
dude, it looks so good. I've never seen this comic.
This is the first time I wanted to surprise you on the podcast.
No fucking way.
Here's our boy Jaime, right?
What is this?
We can do this. This was like kind of an anthology series, like in the middle of the run. There's only 20-ish Alan Moore written books. The main thrust is in the middle of it. I think it was Wildstorm. Wow. And like Wildstorm was like, we're going to publish your comics, Alan Moore. You get full rights, none of that BS. And in the middle of it, Jim Lee signs that big deal with DC, becomes their main man. This is like in the 2000s. This is 2008. This comic comes out, and so basically he had America's Finest Comics. It was called. It was like It was like an imprint of Wildstorm, and he had Promethea, which is one of the greatest fucking comics this century. I'm an Alan Moore stan. Wow. Don't fucking come at me. Like I'm unapologetically worship at the altar of his comics. So if I seem a little enthusiastic, just deal with it. Okay, I don't want to hear it. So yeah, we got Tom Strong, we got Promethea, we got Top 10, which is like do you remember that cartoon from the 80s, Cops?
Yeah, for sure.
Fighting crime in future time. It's like his version of that. I don't know of a better way to explain it. So he has a handful of titles. This is his anthology for Tom Strong. This is a Jaime Hernandez comic that's kind of focusing on his daughter, right? His daughter, and there's it's all silent. Daughter kind of takes her dad's car out for a spin, right? As she's going to the planet, putting on her lipstick, saying hi to the guys.
Fang Foom right there or whatever. Holy
partying,
shit.
Getting shit-faced, puking, getting some action going on. Realizes the time, heads home, changes back into her street clothes. Monkey Man's still there. Tries to drop the keys off without being noticed. Passed out. Boom. Nice, convenient little.
Oh my god, dude! This is so sick.
Point being, what does this remind you?
Holy shit!
In 2008, I think they wrote this Supergirl story essentially.
No fucking way.
Without the filler, it's Supergirl going to the planet to get shit-faced. Now, listen. Again, I'm not a big comics historian here. Okay, well, I guess
I love this right here.
Not more than I have to be.
Yeah.
Oops. We're continuing the line there. Maybe there's a long sordid history of Supergirl going to these different planets to get wasted, and this Alan Moore is taken from the same cue. But yeah, I read this comic and I was like, wait a second, this seems familiar. My mind jolted back to that. So now and also worth noting, if this is to be true, this kind of drunken party girl version of Supergirl is now going to be, in this multi-hundreds of billions of dollar franchise that they're working on. And wouldn't it be interesting if this like throwaway 8-pager
imagine, I mean, it's coming out. I'm sure these guys are reading Alan Moore.
Yeah, of course. I mean, these were not popular comics at all, but if like anyone was reading them,
dude,
the kind of future generations of comics writers. Damn. But that is my unhinged theory. This is my
I'm digging this.
I'm just asking questions moment. But we're talking.
We're just presenting some facts.
Exactly. You want party girl, Supergirl.
I mean, this is so fucking awesome.
You want space? You want space adventures of getting wasted with superpowers. There it is.
There it is.
So, with that said, now let us continue.
Yes. So we trudge on. I'm gonna have to Xerox that.
Oh yeah, you can borrow it. I don't know.
Dude,
we'll figure it out.
Hell yeah.
I have almost the whole run. Once Alan Moore stopped writing them, I think he gave it to his brother for a period. And I see
Steve.
I was so out. Yeah, like I said, this is kind of like an annual anthology sort of story. If you've already been into the characters, but yeah, I love Tom Strong. I think that's a brutally underrated series. And Alan Moore gets such shit for being like an edgelord. Probably around the same time he was doing his like fish rape stories. So he's not entirely innocent of these castigations. But Tom Strong and Promethea. Those are like hidden gems if you don't know. But
what a fun area to explore in Alan Moore's.
Yes,
like, this is amazing, man. I'm super hyped on that.
Yeah,
like so we gotta. Now I want to see the whole
series. Okay,
if Jaime Hernandez spent some time on that,
he spent some time on one story. He's
man.
not invested. This is him calling all these cool people he knows.
That's true.
Do little asides. I don't know.
He shredded that, dude. I gotta.
Yeah, so it is really.
I'm a sucker for Hernandez. Anything Jaime Hernandez, I am a complete rube. I need it. I want to know about it. But when it comes to like the sci-fi, like the subfolder in the Jaime Hernandez canon of sci-fi silly ass story.
Yes, and like super brief. And I mean, so worth noting, I was also like buying these off the rack. Like this was, I want to say the last like subscription I had to a comic was the Tom Strong and or just any of the America's Finest.
This is America's Finest.
Okay,
2002.
So any of those that anything he was touching at that point, I was like subscribed to and like getting monthly and reading and just completely engrossed. And so there is a degree of nostalgia for me. Okay. That said, what does it say that I pick this up off the rack, read it when it comes out, and it just stays in my mind? That's the power of a good Jaime Hernandez.
And it's a silent comic. You know? That's no. We definitely have to dive in.
Okay. You're gonna make me break out the long boxes.
Yeah, we may have to.
Nexus.
This so that kind of segues a little bit because that had a vibe to me of like those alternate superhero adventure stories.
Yeah, like it's not bound to. It goes back to superheroes from maybe like a pulpier era, right?
Yeah.
Your Doc Savages, your Prince Valiants, your Spirits, like superheroes that weren't necessarily superheroes, or rather superheroes from a time where there wasn't a completely like homogenized method of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think that this fits the bill perfectly. It took me a minute to figure out what I know Mike Baron from. He wrote like most of the Punisher series, like the comics that I grew up reading. At least I don't always associate Chuck Dixon with Punisher, but I think maybe he did like Punisher War Journal or one of those like offshoots.
I know he was super like it was 80. Was it 86 or something when he starts on Chuck Dixon?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he does
something like that.
Oh geez, I'm gonna lose my mind if I try to think about it too.
Anyways,
Chuck Dixon has nothing to do with it. Mike Baron is the man doing the heavy lifting. And there is a lot of that Punisher DNA in here.
Interesting.
I could go on about the Punisher.
Please, I need that'll be the next channel.
Well, maybe that could be a good just general yap session. Is me talking about the Punisher.
Dude, I am so down.
Because let me tell you, I have a lot of thoughts, and I might talk about breaking out the long boxes. I might have to do some showing off here. Anywho,
Punisher punishing.
Nexus is from the great Mike Baron with the mighty Steve Rude doing art. These are self-published on. They mentioned it in here. Break it down for me. It's Capital Comics. Bro, you are a fucking if you have Capital Comics stuff in your collection, you are a true dollar bin long box warrior. You know what I'm saying?
And you've seen some shit.
Yeah, for sure. You're in the trenches. I don't have any of that. I can't even pretend.
The Space Ghost fucking reference right
here. Yeah, he's mentioned they were kind of like commissioned. Like I think they had like a war comic they were trying to do, like a Vietnam comic. And Capital was like, just draw a fucking superhero, please, for the love of God.
And that was the actual, like, this wasn't, I mean, I don't know too much about the Nexus character. I collect all of the comics. I have a long box full of them.
My understanding from reading this and doing like a real brief wiki dive is this is like his first appearance. Like I always thought he was was Solar Man of the Atom. He's a pulp guy, right?
Yeah, that was a 1960s guy.
And Magnus Robot Fighter, that was an old one too. And Nexus, he was also in Valiant, or am I just confusing him completely?
No, I think that definitely was a Valiant comic in the early '90s. Yeah,
but this is from '81.
This is pre this, so this is '85.
My man Chris Claremont giving just some shine,
and like the American flag reference here. I haven't read this in a long while. I'm curious to see what this take will kind of.
His take is, I think his point was like, American flag is good, but this is way better.
Right. That's kind of
just like a weird
aside.
Man, to just live in Claremont's brain in the '80s, I would.
Yeah.
One of the great minds, man. Great creative.
Shit out.
So I don't know. There's something there. I don't know if there's any like specific moments I can use to sell you on this comic.
Yeah.
I just think it looks so cool. All these screens. If you're from a certain era, it's going to bring you back like immediately. The art style is like bubbly and fun. There's dark stuff happening.
I love this Kirby dots via the screen tone.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
this stuff is
crazy.
This gets me so fucking juiced. These contrasts are great. Like, it's just beautiful looking art. The story is I don't know, an interesting. It's just there's not much to it, I guess. It's just, what if you could do anything?
Right.
And I think it's an interesting question, right? Like, what if you could just do anything? Maybe as writers, you kind of ponder that, and you're like, okay, I got to tell a superhero story. What's my guy going to have the powers of? Fucking everything. And what do I do with the powers of everything? And it's like, I think if you're a writer that maybe isn't trying to write just for children or just appease an audience, you're like, what do I do? You'd probably fucking murk the people you thought were really bad, and you're probably thinking, well, who are the bad guys? And you're not going to invent like, I'm Monster Man, I want to eat all the kids. You're like, the fucking slavers and like exploiters of people, and
the people in real life that are the villains, you know?
Yes.
This was
so cool. They get some juice out of that. They reuse that one.
Sick.
So you probably have these moments in mind, but yeah, you blast the fucking guys who are just the people with real power, because you understand. I mean, if you're a remotely intelligent person, you understand who the people with real power are, and who are the people who are in control, and who are the people doing the exploiting. And it's not like the guy mugging you on the street. That is a symptom of these larger powers, and you sort of want to go to the heart of the matter. And our man Nexus goes to the heart of the matter. I think maybe this was so engaging for me to read because I just believed that the artists were telling a story they believed in, and they were engaged. You know?
This is in the era of all of these kind of like anti-hero kind of things like were happening in the black and white boom, from what I understand.
I feel like if I picked up a random issue of like Quasar or something from this period, I don't know that I would feel that people making them had their hearts in them. I would feel that they were probably, had a deadline, they needed to get something out. Quasar had to fight someone. Blah blah blah.
There's an earnestness to this
purely, and it's like, and it's maybe not the most highbrow stuff. It's a spaceman who zaps guys. No one's pretending.
It's a fantasy story.
Yes, absolutely, and it's spaceships, and it's just like early kind of geek culture. Just spazzing out. I mean, look at this shit. This is just, you got to have your power fantasy all the way.
All the way. I mean, it's just, I think this is like the cream of the crop of that kind of stuff.
It's pretty enjoyable, man. I gotta say, and I mean, there's a lot of, it's a Heavy Metal, the movie, the cartoon, the animated feature, was released, I think, around the same time as this. And the comic was based on, or the animated series was based on the more popular series from the comics. So whether they saw the movie or not, I think this stuff was like in the air. That was like a really important movie to me growing up, and I was, probably born the same year that it came out. Yeah, and so it's not like I was necessarily. I was raised on it in a sense, but it was also something that was a little before my time. If I was an adult and saw it, like in the theaters, as these guys would have, of course I would come home and start, trying to emulate that as much as possible. And I feel there's a lot of heavy metal DNA.
And then specifically as a cartoonist or as a comic maker, like that would have completely changed you.
Can kind of like distort the features and just give things a lot more grit, Like this is of course like a direct market comic. It's not bound to comics code. It's also not like nearly as gritty as a heavy metal mag, like
absolutely.
A kid could totally read this, but I think you'd maybe have to be like this is an older brother core all the way.
Yeah, this is definitely like cool teenager, but like is not the brain is not affected.
Yeah, you're reading Green Lantern, and your big bro comes in and he's like, "Let me put you on some real
check
shit.
This cool shit out."
Yeah, this is something. I would be astonished if Danzig wasn't a subscriber. This is every week we'll have to be like, has Glenn Danzig read this comic?
Does he have this?
Has Glenn read this comic? And that's a question I want to know. I think that's the dichotomy.
Has Glenn read this?
And it's like, until we can get our interview with him and we can double check all this.
We're just going to assume you have, Glenn.
TBD. But if I'm a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was, betting Glenn got himself some Nexus comics. He was hip to that.
Honestly,
kind of thing.
This would be on my absolutely. This would be on my poll, or like I would be looking for this if
we were cool enough to know about it. I think he had to really.
Was it pretty exclusive like
Capital Comics? Like, bro, I don't know who.
I guess so. Now it's almost like this might be no besmirchment. I'm not trying to be rude, but it almost feels like the Herb Alpert in the dollar bin.
Right.
Because I find these comics pretty often.
Yeah.
And they're not in bad condition. So I'm always like, dude, the Rude Dudes art, I gotta have it. I love his work on that Space Ghost comic that the kayfabe covered and shit. Like, that stuff is gold.
Right.
And this is, to see his work, this is early shit, right? This is early in his career.
To my understanding,
this is fucking phenomenal, man.
Yeah, and it's if you evoke kayfabe, so I'll evoke kayfabe. They mentioned
shit right there.
They mentioned this with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. How even though they were black and white, you never felt like you were getting cheated.
So true.
And it's like when you see all of this work put into these backgrounds, and some of the backgrounds are really sparse, especially early on. But it's like you can't tell me that they're cutting corners or
No way.
cheaping you on anything. This is all
I mean, screen tone is used to add effect, like not to quick,
And it's this feels just like such a complete story. It's just so satisfying. It's a little thin plot wise. This guy is like he's trying to get Nexus to kill this other guy who's like a bad guy. And it's like he should kill him because he's like the prime type that Nexus should kill, but he's like, no, I don't kill unnecessarily. But we just saw him kill unnecessarily.
At the beginning, I was gonna say.
So it's not like a Batman no kill rule. Like he's down to murk some fools. It's just.
But he has to bear witness to it or something like that. Like he just doesn't do it.
It's not
because at this point he's seen this guy. He's seen the effects of the world so far. So maybe I don't know if that was their angle. Like he has to see what's going on.
Well, I think his premise was like now that he suffered because his wife got killed in the skirmish, and like this people are kind of freed. So to kill him at this point would be unnecessary. But it's like, all right, it's a really odd conceit.
Yeah, it's like a thin kind of like a reason to keep him around.
And that kind of leads. Oh, there's this weird thing with his dreams. Like he's just in anguish in his dreams.
This is always. That's an always thing. I don't know if you've read Nexus comics, but that's a always kind of effect.
I'm fine with it, and he's just trying to find like an escape from this torment of his sleep, and they promise him that, and he's like, never mind, they couldn't actually do it. And that kind of leads them to realizing there's like a mole in their ranks who's reporting. That's the other cool thing. His whole crew is made up of like liberated peoples who are like, dude, you fucking really helped us out, Nexus. Of course we'd like to be on your ship, which is a lot nicer than, I don't know.
You just signing up and
it's not quite a cult. They're just like, hey, you really helped us out, dude. I'd love to help you.
This is very much a little Batman as well. Now that I'm with that, I didn't realize that.
Well, he's got the giga wealth.
Huh. But it's also in that like he's a philanthropist in that way where he's using his wealth in a very specific, unique way.
Yeah, or this is his origin story, which I can't make fucking heads or tails of.
Yeah.
There's Alpha and Beta, who are his imaginary friends. These guys, I don't care. Fine, I like looking at them. It's cool. Whatever. You're gonna whatever you have to do to give me shit that looks like this. Fucking fine.
Yeah. Just throw it on there. Man.
I feel like we've kind of lost the plot. It's just okay.
Yeah. ...
Now he has like infinity powers.
And then we get to the good stuff.
Yeah. Him kind of showing off his world.
Yeah.
And to me, I think what really stood out.
This was sick to me. This was really like a cool moment.
Yeah.
And like
little splashing around in paradise.
Yeah.
So they go to this like moon because he can just take her to this moon and surround her with this field. And he just uses his mind powers to build his castle. Bro, that is straight up a scene from Watchmen. That is Dr. Manhattan.
You heard it here first, motherfucker.
Beat for beat. And I don't know why I've never heard anyone talking about that. Maybe I'm not listening close enough. But
I've also never heard of but it's the same situation.
Yeah.
It's almost this, they're escaping from like his everyday kind of life. She's like she is like the love interest in this piece.
Yeah.
And this is complete Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, he's showing her what he can do. He's just erecting this castle from
flexing,
nothing.
basically.
And I mean, that's kind of where the similarities end.
Right.
Whatever. I'm not trying to take a dig at my idol here.
Right.
But it's broken up by that same bad guy from before. Again, paper fucking thing here. What we're operating on, and this is unfortunately the finale of sorts because the company goes out of print the company goes under after 3 issues. So all we get is this last kind of unsatisfying fight, and then we're done.
And this is the B story, or this is like the back issue story.
Yeah, Tales of Dave the Monkey Man, and his little interactions. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to say that this is like a absolute essential read, life-changing moment. It's too short. It's too primitive to really be that. But
this is like, how would you put it? Like, this is I see this, like, literally, I see this in the library next to my my all red run.
Okay.
Of shit, and I see this as a like I don't know what it would be called, like the Promethean Man or whatever, where it's like the progression. It seems like Nexus is part of a progression into those like ultra poppy, pulpy kind of things that came.
Right.
Like,
and I was kind of like fascinated by that stuff growing up, where it was like, I don't know, kind of, it's a really hard thing to talk about in the 90s that if you didn't kind of live through it. But there was this like, I don't know, kind of notion that like old or retro or kitschy is like fun, like a Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of feel, So that was in the air where like, you would want like your superheroes because of all the like Lobos and the fucking that post Dark Knight Watchmen deconstructive blah 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 with heroes and the grim dark edgy giant gun stuff. There was this undercurrent where it was like, hey, let's draw some fun stuff. And I mean, in a weird way, this kind of predates all that, and you get not quite naive, because they're working really hard on it, and it is definitely for teenage boys, I would say.
It's absolutely like it is in that Johnny Quest vibe.
I don't think it's like I don't think you draw this to impress like the cute girl at the coffee shop with berets in her hair. I think this is for the fellas here.
This is for the boys. Like, this is for sure for the boys.
And I don't know. There's some real charm in finding work from this little nook where it's like nothing's been deconstructed yet. Nothing's a pushback yet. It's just a pure and sincere conveying of this kind of pulpy hero, and it's rough and it's primitive and it's not really edgy enough to appeal to what would come after, and it's not really pop and naive and fun enough to appeal to like a Bone style audience. Right. I guess I would. I mean, if I'm drawing a comparison, maybe it would be something like ElfQuest, which is like very high skilled in terms of like the art and the creation. It is like its own IP. It's not based on anything else. It's kind of outside of superhero stuff while also being like having so much comic book DNA that you can't really talk about it as like, you know, some separate art form or anything. It's a really interesting tone, I guess, to capture. Yeah. Possibly lost. Like, I don't know that we can get this now.
Do we have we lost that innocence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's, this naivety is just coming from like, I feel like these guys were exposed to very specific comics,
right?
And we're so into that language, right? Like, even like the little isms of like not showing the homie's feet. Steve Rude, I know you can draw that. You're doing that just because you're evoking the Kirby of it all, you know? Or
Crates. And it's like, you just have a bunch of fancy, books on your wall. The Drew Struzan Star Wars stuff is staring you. That poster is at the wall, and you're just looking at it all the time. And
is the Starlin stuff coming out?
Like, dude, absolutely.
These homies are definitely reading that.
And I think with the space stuff from the big two, I think it kind of lacks because it's so locked in with the larger lore of that world. You know, like at some point, a Superman or a Green Lantern or a if you're on the Marvel side of things, it was like I guess cosmic Marvel stuff does kind of feel in its own world because Jim Starlin was designing it all. But whatever, the fucking X-Men could roll through. You don't know, like all kinds of stuff could happen. You're still in that world. Whereas when you're doing complete OC like this, you can tell maybe a more straightforward, less complex story, and it's that pure thrill and energy and momentum shines through more without the more complex lore of it all.
Yeah, and I think that kind of sums up the through line with these guys for sure, because this was epic, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's in both ways we're here. This is a earnest, good time with genre and with the interaction of superheroes to the genre. And what a fun, happy accent. So maybe, and this is still a little more self-aware.
I think so.
It's not nearly as
it's in that post-internet shit of like the hyper-reality space, because there's the meta elements here that are self-referential of like DC specific stories, but they don't exist here. This Nexus can pull from the meta comics verse, where these guys, I feel like, are pulling from specific DC, like, kind of, it's not sandbagged at all. Like, I think that's why these thrive as like mythologies, kind of.
Right.
Because like I've heard of, I don't know if I've read a full Nexus proper comic, but I've read this, and I know I've heard a bunch of references to it throughout, like, even in comic shops. Like, dudes are always this is one of those comics that people talk about, but like I'm not sure if I've ever read one. They're so sick.
Right.
Like they're just those really cool pieces of, like, how should I say, man? They're not filler, because they're cool, but they're like a digest of that whole thing we love about comics. It's in here. So if you're looking just for like that good time, something like this will do it.
And we got something old, something new. And,
there you go.
The borrowed, because it's from the library. Blue, he's blue.
Yeah, he's
boom.
Blue. There you
got it. All right.
Boom.
At ease, privates. I'm not going to say privates anymore. I'm taking that out.
All right, we're done with the privates now. The plebes.